Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we dive into the craziest cartoon crossovers imaginable. Today, we're tackling a question that has probably never crossed your mind, but once you hear it, you won't be able to stop thinking about it. What would happen if Tom and Jerry had to babysit Peppa Pig? Yeah, you heard that right. The world's most chaotic cat and mouse duo in charge of the world's most famous slightly sassy puddle-jumping piglet. This is a recipe for absolute, unfiltered animated pandemonium, and I am so here for it. So grab your snacks, get comfortable, and let's imagine the sheer madness that would unfold. First, let's set the scene. How on earth does this even happen? Let's say Mommy and Daddy Pig have won a surprise all-expenses-paid weekend getaway. It's very last minute, and all their usual babysitters are busy. In a moment of sheer desperation, Daddy Pig remembers a flyer he saw for a new, highly rated babysitting service. T&J Sitters, we handle anything. He makes the call, completely unaware that T&J stands for Tom and Jerry. Tom, seeing a chance to make some quick cash for, I don't know, fancy cat food or a new state-of-the-art mousetrap, eagerly accepts the job. He assures Daddy Pig that he and his business partner are professionals. Jerry, of course, is the silent partner, mostly because he's hiding in the wall, listening in and already planning how to make this the most difficult job of Tom's life. So the moment arrives. Mommy and Daddy Pig head off, leaving Tom in charge of Peppa and a blissfully unaware baby George. For the first 5 minutes, everything is surprisingly calm. Tom, trying to be responsible, offers Peppa a nice warm glass of milk. Peppa, being Peppa, looks at it and says, "That's nice, but I'd rather have a muddy puddle." Tom blinks. This isn't in the babysitting manual. He tries to explain that it's not raining and there are no muddy puddles inside. This is where Jerry makes his first move. He scurries to the kitchen, turns on the sink faucet just a little bit, and uses a straw to direct a tiny stream of water onto the living room rug. It's not much, but it's a start. Peppa's eyes light up. A puddle, she squeals. Before Tom can react, she's jumping up and down on the damp spot, splashing tiny droplets everywhere. Tom panics. He tries to mop it up, but Peppa just thinks it's a new game called Jump on the Mop. As Tom is distracted, Jerry sees his chance. He borrows George's favorite toy, Mr. Dinosaur, and scurries away with it. Suddenly, a wail erupts from the other room. George is crying. Dinosaur, grr. Tom now has a crying baby dinosaur-less piglet and a puddle-obsessed piglet to deal with. He runs to comfort George, only to see Jerry waving Mr. Dinosaur from atop the grandfather clock. This is where classic Tom and Jerry antics kick in. Tom sets up an elaborate trap involving a laundry basket, a fishing rod, and a piece of cheese to catch Jerry and retrieve Mr. Dinosaur. But Peppa, seeing the contraption, thinks it's a wonderful new climbing frame. She climbs onto the basket, just as Tom springs the trap, sending himself flying across the room and landing headfirst in the toy box. Peppa claps her hands, shouting, "Again, again!" She thinks this is the best babysitter ever. Tom emerges, dazed, with a doll's bonnet on his head. Meanwhile, Jerry, feeling a bit mischievous, decides to introduce Peppa to his own brand of fun. He leads her to the kitchen, where he points to the giant bag of flour. Peppa's eyes go wide. "Is it snow?" she asks. Jerry nods enthusiastically. The next thing Tom knows, the entire living room looks like a winter wonderland. Flour is everywhere. Peppa and Jerry are making flour angels on the floor, and George is happily covering himself in white powder, looking like a tiny powdered piglet. Tom's responsible babysitter facade completely shatters. This is no longer a job, it's a battle for survival. He grabs the vacuum cleaner, thinking he can suck up all the flour. Big mistake. Jerry, a master of sabotage, quickly unplugs it and then, in a stroke of evil genius, reverses the flow. As Tom plugs it back in and hits the switch, the vacuum doesn't suck. It blows. A massive cloud of flour erupts, engulfing the entire room and everyone in it. When the dust settles, Tom, Peppa, George, and Jerry are all completely white, looking like a family of friendly ghosts. Peppa giggles uncontrollably. We're all snowy. The chaos escalates. Jerry challenges Peppa to a game of hide-and-seek. Peppa, a hide-and-seek enthusiast, eagerly agrees. The problem is, her hiding spots are terrible. She just covers her eyes and thinks no one can see her. Tom, however, is still trying to catch Jerry, who is using the game as a perfect cover. This leads to a mad chase through the house. Tom runs through the kitchen, slipping on a strategically placed banana peel left by Jerry. He slides across the floor and crashes into the fridge. The fridge door swings open and a giant chocolate cake Mummy Pig's prize-winning cake, of course, comes wobbling out. Everything moves in slow motion. The cake teeters on the edge of the shelf. Tom, Peppa, George, and Jerry all look up, their eyes wide. The cake falls. Tom makes a heroic dive to catch it, but he's too late. It lands squarely on his head, covering him in chocolate frosting and sponge. Peppa and George look at the chocolate-covered cat, then at each other, and then they do the only logical thing. They start licking the frosting off of him. Tom just sits there, defeated, covered in chocolate, as two little pigs clean him up. This is his life now. Just when you think it can't get any crazier, the doorbell rings. It's Peppa's friends. Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, and Rebecca Rabbit have come over for a playdate. Tom's eyes widen in terror. More of them? Before he can even protest, Peppa has led them all in. The house, already a disaster zone of flour, water, and chocolate, is now filled with a whole menagerie of little animals. Susie Sheep starts trying to baa like a real sheep. Danny Dog starts barking and chasing his tail, and Rebecca Rabbit just wants to know where the carrots are. Jerry, ever the entertainer, orchestrates the chaos, leading them all in a conga line through the house, knocking over lamps and picture frames as they go. Tom is outnumbered and overwhelmed. He finally surrenders. He can't fight them, so he might as well join them. He uses a broom as a guitar and starts playing some wild, improvised music. The kids love it. They all start dancing. Peppa is jumping in her puddle, George is banging on a pot with a spoon, and Tom is the reluctant rock star of this chaotic animal party. For a moment, just a single moment, everyone is having fun. The house is a complete wreck, but it's a happy wreck. And then, they hear a car pull into the driveway. It's Mummy and Daddy Pig. They're home early. Panic sets in. Tom, Jerry, Peppa, and all her friends freeze. The next 60 seconds are a blur of frantic, high-speed cleaning that will put any professional cleaning crew to shame. Tom uses his entire body as a mop, sliding across the floor to soak up the water and flour. The kids frantically stuff toys back into the box. Jerry, in a rare moment of truth, helps by quickly hiding the last remnants of the chocolate cake. It's a team effort, born from a shared fear of getting in trouble. When Mummy and Daddy Pig walk in, the house is, well, it's not perfect, but it's surprisingly tidy. Peppa and George are sitting quietly on the sofa, looking like perfect little angels. Tom is standing by the door, trying to look professional, though he still has a bit of frosting behind his ear. Daddy Pig looks around, impressed. Wow, he says. The house looks great. And the children are so calm. You must be the best babysitter in the world. He hands Tom a generous tip. Tom just nods, too exhausted to speak. As Mummy and Daddy Pig tuck the children into bed, Peppa whispers, Mummy, that was the best babysitting day ever. Can Tom and Jerry come back tomorrow? Mummy Pig just smiles, thinking they must have just played some quiet games. Downstairs, Tom stumbles out the front door, leaning against the wall to catch his breath. Jerry pops out of his pocket, holding up the generous tip money with a smug little grin. Tom just glares at him, but there's no energy left for a chase. He knows that, despite the absolute nightmare it was, he survived. And he knows, deep down, that he'll probably be back for the next babysitting adventure. Because as crazy as it was, maybe, just maybe, it was a little bit fun. So, what do you think? Is this how it would go down? Let me know your own hilarious ideas in the comments below. What other cartoon characters should we throw into this mix? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this crazy crossover scenario, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more animated what ifs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.